remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
In his infamous speech in 1945, theoretical physicist Julius Robert Oppenheimer introduced one of the most controversial and debated topics in the history of mankind: nuclear energy. Devastating. That's how people distinguish nuclear power. The traumatic events of Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombing in 1945, Chernobyl incident in 1986, and the recent nuclear power plant incident in Fukushima, Japan in 2011 left people in awe and has since closed their minds from the wonders of this incredible power. And so to speak, to identify nuclear energy as crucially insane is appropriate, but to say that it is solely terrifying is an understatement. Humanity, now weak and fragile in front of this power, begs to answer the question: was nuclear energy that bad, that destructive, that we must decline and refuse its use? To understand more about nuclear energy, the energy obtained from atoms, or commonly known as atomic or nuclear energy, generally comes from the splitting or combining of atoms. The energy that comes from these reactions are harnessed to obtain electricity. The splitting of atoms or nuclear fission happens when the nuclei of an atom is bombarded by another particle, causing the nucleus to split into smaller constituents. The energy released in between the splitting action is the energy that is converted into other forms. Nuclear fission can only be carried out in specific controlled conditions, usually in colliders and particle accelerators. Energies that come from these processes can take the form of both electromagnetic and kinetic energy. In comparison to coal, gas, and other electric generating plants, nuclear offers the lowest by far in greenhouse gas release. It is estimated the amount of energy released in a nuclear fission reaction is 10 million times greater than the amount released in burning a fossil fuel atom like oil and gas. Therefore, the amount of fuel required in a nuclear power plant is much smaller compared to those of other types of power plants. It is in most cases more beneficial in terms of climate crisis to replace energy harnessing methods we use today with nuclear power. The radioactive waste can pose a threat to the environment and is dangerous for humans. We all remember the Chernobyl accident, where the harmful effects of nuclear radiation on humans can even be witnessed today. Does nuclear power cause air pollution? The nuclear power plants emit negligible amounts, if any, carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Contrary to popular belief, uranium is in limited supply. While not a fossil fuel, we still run the risk of running out eventually. Typical renewable energy sources such as solar and wind are in infinite supply. Uranium has to be mined, synthesized, then activated to produce energy, and it's very expensive to go through this process. As the world keeps advancing, the more energy is needed, and more alternative solutions must be thought of so that we could cope up with the advancement of the human race. While accidents and the environmental impacts of spent fuel need to be considered, we simply don't have any better options for long-term mass energy production. If better solutions come along, the future of nuclear energy will have to be re-examined. Very smart people, such as Elon Musk, are working hard to make renewables like solar, wind, and etc. a part of the conversation for long-term sustainable power. New, exciting technology continues to come out on a day-to-day basis. For now, nuclear remains as one of the only viable options to solving Earth's increasing energy needs.